$8,000 or $4,000, and I haven't.
This is what Robert knows about April Jean. Date of birth, 9/28/89 in Colorado. Age 30. Currently working in Tonga as a freelance architect. Hired by Bond Construction in Houston, Texas. Moved to Tonga for contract work on November 10th, 2019. Her mother's from Mexico, deceased, 17 years ago. Father from California, deceased. Former boyfriend, deceased, 2 years ago. Permanent home is with her grandmother in Lubbock, Texas. Grandmother recently died, however, just 3 months ago. She attended the University of Colorado or Colorado State between 2006 and 2010. They've been talking via email and text for a couple of months. Robert exchanged $3,000 in gift cards for her. Robert claims they met concerning a lost package. It was just kind of happenstance, right?
That's what it appeared, yeah.
Yeah. And here's what April Jean looks like. Very attractive.
Sure.
Yeah. We sent a staffer to Texas, put somebody on an airplane, flew him to Lubbock to do some digging. Here's what we found out.
The Dr. Phil Show has been told by Robert that April Jean lived in this house with her grandmother before she had to leave for a freelance architecture job in Tonga. Let's take a look. Hey, how's it going, man? I'm Max Jim with the Dr. Phil Show. I'm wondering if you know this woman, April. You've never met her before in your life?
I've never seen her in my life.
She claims her grandmother used to live here until she passed away 3 months ago. Have you lived here?
I haven't been here for about maybe 3 years.
You've been here for 3 years?
Yeah.
So you've never seen this woman?
No, I've never seen her.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right.
How's it going? I'm Max. I work with the Dr. Phil Show. How long have you lived here?
37 years.
37 years. Have you ever seen that woman?
No.
Her name is April Jean. You've never seen her before in 30 years you lived here?
Okay. Mainly been black people for me.
That's it. Good to know. Thank you so much. Well, Dr. Phil, it's safe to say the people who live at the address that Robert gave your team have never met April Jean. They say she has never lived there.
Here's what we found out about April Jean. There's no April Jean with a date of birth 9/28/89 that lived in Texas, Colorado, or anywhere in the United States of America. There is no April Jean that attended the University of Colorado or Colorado State between 2006 and 2010. There's no April Jean that worked at Vaughn Construction Company in Houston, Texas. We talked to Vaughn Construction Company.
Good.
She doesn't work there, has never worked there,
Okay.
never heard of her.
Okay.
It just simply doesn't exist.
I get you. I'm glad you couldn't cover this.
You get,
I
she
got it.
doesn't exist.
None of them exist because it's the same pattern over and over and over and over again.
Did you make it through all 6 names? Just out of curiosity.
yeah.
I don't know if you have time on here.
No, but we've gone one better. We found April Jean. Robert says he's looking forward to meeting April Jean. Well, we looked everywhere for April and discovered she was indeed outside of the U.S., but not in Tonga. Take a look.
Hola, hola, Robert. Siento mucho decirte que mi nombre no es Abril. Mi nombre es Erika Vega. Soy de Nogales, Sonora, México. Vivo en México. Soy influencer en redes sociales y siento mucho, mucho lo que te está pasando. Todos los días recibo mensajes de diferentes personas en donde se hacen pasar por mí, en donde estafan a gente con dinero, en donde incluso secuestran. Y de verdad es muy triste esa situación. Doy gracias a este espacio para poder aclararlo y para poder decir no se dejen engañar. Chequen bien a quién siguen, chequen bien a quién agregan, chequen bien en quién confían, sobre todo en redes sociales. Gracias, saludos.
The woman that you think is April Jean is actually this woman who lives in Mexico and has had her identity. So they stole her picture. She's not involved in this in any way whatsoever. She is a victim of identity theft. Robert has also been talking to another woman named Jane Hodges. Here's what we know about Jane. Date of birth unknown, 28 to 35 years old, also known as Jane Stamper, born in Barcelona, Spain, being held hostage in an unload location in Texas with her grandmother and daughter Maggie. She's been being held hostage there for 2 years by her Uncle Danny. Now, Uncle Danny's real name is Gonzales Ronald Hodges. Uncle Danny allegedly owns property in Levittown, New York, and Virginia Beach, Virginia. He talked to Robert online via text message for 2 years. Robert sent her $500. So here are some text message exchanges between Robert and Jane Hodges. Jane, I know necessary steps to take to get hold of money in 1 week. Once I'm out and have all the documents, that's why I want us doing this secretly, so he doesn't do anything to the documents.
I'll explain it.
Robert, you think you'll be able to get a hold of anything if you don't have the documents? Jane, if I get out of here unaware of him, bursted, I can get my documents as soon as possible because he wouldn't have time to do anything to it. If I get out with no documents, I can't get any money. Only if I have means to locate them in person for.
According to her, Uncle Danny is holding her probate documents and her passport, which he took in exchange for loaning her $10,000 for surgery for her daughter.
Life-saving surgery, I suspect.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, since Robert explained that Jane Hodges was being held captive by her Uncle Danny, we sent a staff member to where Uncle Danny allegedly owns property in Virginia Beach. Take a look.
Okay, then I'm going to try the neighbors.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Jim. I'm with the Dr. Phil Show. Have you ever seen her before?
No, but goodness, she doesn't look very old.
Her name is Jane Hodges, or so she says.
Yeah, I don't know who she is, and I have not seen her in the neighborhood.
Thank you so much for
You're
coming.
welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Have you ever seen her before in this neighborhood?
I don't believe so. She would probably stand out.
And the name that she's telling him is Jane Hodges. Does that mean anything?
Not at all.
You know this woman, Jane Hodges?
No, I've never seen her before. I'm 71. I've lived here since I was 5. I've never seen her. I would remember her for sure. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Well, Dr. Phil, it's safe to say that the people who live at the address that Robert gave your team do not know Jane Hodges or Danny Hodges. They say that nobody by those names has ever lived at that address.
There is no Jane Hodges with that name in the age range at all anywhere in Texas. There's no Jane Stamper in the entire United States with that name in any kind of age range in Texas or U.S. No Gonzales Ronald Hodges in the entire United States. Virginia Beach property is not owned by Gonzales Ronald Hodges.
Right.
Doesn't exist.
Let me add something about this. By his own admission, he's a very secretive guy, and I doubt that he actually gave me his correct name. But every one of those is ambiguous, and I'll tell you why. Because the information is coming from a guy who actually is not a guy that's going to tell the truth about who he is. He doesn't want to be found.
You're not dating him, you're dating her.
No, but it's part of the credibility, and that's why you look at other people too. Right?
Well, exactly how has Robert been able to send women money while living mainly on Social Security? A former roommate of Robert's will shed some light on that.
Robert is very desperate. He's talking to women that look like Kim Kardashian. These are some women that I personally couldn't even talk to or pick up, and I'm not a bad looking guy. One day he was telling me about a lady who he had just met online who had got stuck in Honduras. Later that day he was telling that same girl that he loved her, how he wanted to give her a family, and she was saying that she wasn't able to get home, she wasn't able to get a flight or a ticket or anything like that because she didn't have the local currency. So Robert sent her $3,000. Robert needs to understand, you were acting crazy. You were too smart to be acting this dumb.
I want to introduce Robert's former roommate, Jill's son, Julian. He says after living with Robert for several months, he does not believe any of his girlfriends are real. So, Julian, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. It's been very clear in our conversations with you that you have his best interest at heart. What did you see when you were living together?
At first, really, it wasn't something that I was like, oh, this is an issue. And then just watching him, his daily habits are constantly on the computer. It was that, or he would walk, and he'd be like, oh, I'm going to go walk. And I'd be like, okay, where are you going? And he'd be like, I'm going to Walmart. I was like, oh, he's going to send somebody else money. So it started to be an issue because, Robert will neglect himself to talk to these women. He really won't listen to, reason. It's like he wants it to be real so bad that no matter what happens to disprove it, he's still going to be like, yeah, it's true.
I think you're exactly right, but it goes on. There's another woman. The fourth woman Robert is talking to is Rosalind Randy. Here's what we know about her. Date of birth, 3/14/84, Minneapolis. 35 years old, currently living in Ghana. Formerly lived in Sweden with grandmother. U.S. passport, Robert admits it was forged, but says it isn't concerning. Both parents died 3 years ago. 2008 to 2012, attended Roosevelt High School in Minneapolis. 2012, worked as a lab tech in Sweden, worked as a midwife in Ghana. In 2015, worked as a vaccination project supervisor in Ghana. April 2016, received nursing degree in Ghana. Owns a clothing shop in Ghana, has $16,000 in gold bars, and you sent her about $5,000?
Related to the gold, yeah.
Related to the gold, but you never got the gold.
No, she got arrested before that happened.
Is this the same one that I know, Bob? That you had checked out on their address in Ghana by someone who was in Ghana, and it was some kind of government enclosure?
Let's ask Dr. Phil. He asked the questions, not you.
Well, here's a photo.
You're way off base, and I don't want to get back and forth between them.
Here's a photo of Rosalind Randy, and we had to blur her face here and cover up some other things. And we did find out things about Rosalind Randy. First is that she doesn't exist. There is no Rosalinda Randy or Rose Randy with a date of birth of 3/14/84 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they do keep records up there, unlike the UK. No one by this name, Rosalinda Randy, Rose Randy, attended Roosevelt High School in Minneapolis, we checked between the years of 08 and 12, which she said nobody went to the school by that name.
That's what I found out too, actually.
And so we checked this Igel camp is not located in Sweden. There are two locations, the Netherlands and Morrisville, North Carolina, and nobody by that name ever attended these locations in the Netherlands or North Carolina. So she never went there. It just didn't happen. There's no such person.
Okay.
There's one person in Robert's self-professed pool who he sent $4,000 to and has been talking to for 2 years without any substantive contact. That's about to change.
This is Wendy. She's also a fashion designer, although I never really got close to her from the point of view of romance. I continue to talk to her right up till now. We worked out an agreement about having to help her with her inheritance. She has an inheritance of $5 million. Probably gave her close to $4,000. I never received any money back.
Now, here's what we know, or at least has been represented about Wendy. Date of birth unknown. Age 30 to 35. Formerly lived in San Francisco. Currently lives with friends somewhere in California. Occupation, freelance fashion designer, right?
More or less.
Attorney, Arnold Pittenger. Now, Arnold Pittenger controls Wendy's $5 million inheritance. Robert has spent $4,000 approximately corresponding online across the last 2 years. And this is to help her get this
correct
inheritance freed up.
Yes.
Here's a photo of Wendy Rodriguez. This is Wendy, very attractive young woman, obviously. And this Arnold Pittenger alleged driver's license, again, this is the attorney that's helping with this, right?
Yeah.
You notice that he signed over the top of somebody else's signature down here,
yes.
Which is a bit of a problem. You notice that there's a seal which goes over the top of the picture, and while we've had to blur this, there's no seal that goes over the top of it. You notice there's also a birth date that goes on top of the picture, and that's not on top of the picture over here. So that's a problem. Here he's got date of birth 12/8/79. Over here, the birth date is 12/8/87. So the birth date isn't even the same when you go from here just to over here. It's not even the same. They didn't go to the trouble to put it the same on the same document.
Yeah, it was very poor. I recognized it right away.
Well, first off, there's no Arnold Pittenger in California or the U.S. with a date of birth that matches the driver's license, either date, actually. No Arnold Pittenger practices law in California. Mm-hmm. This is a made-up entity. He doesn't exist, not as a lawyer or anything else. Robert says he's looking forward to meeting Wendy Rodriguez. We looked everywhere for Wendy, and we found an answer very close by. Take a look.
Hi, Dr. Phil. My name is Sierra Rogers. I live in Los Angeles, and I'm the founder, CEO, and designer of Babes and Felines. Hi, Robert. Obviously, I'm not Wendy Rodriguez. I'm sorry that someone fooled you into thinking that. What I would suggest in the future before sending gifts or falling in love with someone, maybe FaceTime or meet up with them in person. But it's nice to meet you.
Does that answer your question about whether
Yes.
she's real or not?
Well, yes, sure. How can it not?
I don't know. Why did you write in to begin with?
When Robert contacted me over the summer last year and I found out he was sleeping behind buildings, I felt it was my responsibility to go big or go home, one last chance to get him some help, because I didn't want to get a call that he was another body found out, laying behind a building somewhere.
I'll tell you what I think is going on.
All right.
I think very much, I think you're in love with the idea of being in love. I think you live in this fantasy world of, this is going to be great. And you're so tunnel visioned on what that would be like that you ignore all the warning signs along the way because you want that to happen so badly.
Why don't you just use an app like Tinder or Match or OkCupid? There's a lot of dating apps that are practical. They're like, hey, we'll meet up here in this physical place, not, hey, I'm in Africa, by the way, send me $1,000, and then we'll link up.
Reality never lives up to fantasy. And if you're in love with a multi-millionaire in Ghana, then you can live in that fantasy world a long time. If there is a 25, 35-year-old multi-millionaire gorgeous girl out there, she ain't looking for you and me. She's looking for somebody her age, somebody to share her life with that she has something in common with. She ain't looking for us.
Something about generalities is that they are good. They're even good most of the time. But you would know they're not good all the time, right?
But why are you looking
I
for
bet
the
they're
10%?
I bet they're good enough of the time to cover your situation.
Well, okay, perhaps, but we're in an area of subject itself could be whole shows. You realize that, of course. I mean, we're getting into all kinds of things here, and there's no time for me to respond to it. It probably wouldn't go over well in sound bites. It's good things to talk about. It's good to raise them.
Well, that's very condescending to say, but the point is, I'm just trying to tell you that you're, as your ex-wife points out, fishing in a pond that is a multi-billion-dollar scam pool.
And I said that myself.
And
actually, didn't I?
you're going to continue to do one of two things. If you really don't want to get into a relationship, you just want to live in the fantasy or hope of what could be, then that's the price of the ticket. You understand what I'm telling you?
Well, I understand that you have my interest at heart, and that's good enough.
Yeah, you're being used.
Okay.
He told me I would rather die with my boots on, so to speak, go out in a blaze of glory. And, you know, it's like, I'd rather be homeless every week and buy that lottery ticket, and maybe one day I hit the numbers, and if I don't, then I died trying. And that's his mentality towards it.
No, that's true.
But I told him, you're going to never find love, and you're always going to be homeless if you don't change something.
You wanted my opinion about these 5 women.
Right.
I've given it to you. I think they're all identity theft scams, and I hope you'll unplug from all 5 of them.
I will.
You've been sitting here telling me about how $8,000, $4,000, $3,000, all that money. I have spent the last 4 years working myself crazy
I know.
in order to be able to live.
I know.
I've done a pretty good job of it.
Yeah.
And you have said that you're doing this for me.
Partly,
so that you can pay me back.
Correct.
Well, these women have seen your $8,000, your $4,000, your $10,000, your $19,000, and I haven't. And you are living on twice the Social Security income that I get. And when I have to stop working, and I'm already 72, when I have to stop working, my income is $900 some a month, according to whatever the Social Security determines at the time.
I know that.
You can't live on that.
I know.
And I have asked you time and time again to send me a few $100, $200, $300 a month out of that larger income that you have, even though I have an income from working, so that I can put that in the bank and have that to help make my life livable when I have to stop working. I haven't seen that. You promised before, you said you were going to do it, and I'm still facing that $900 future. I don't have a home. I have an apartment. We used to have homes. I put things up on the wall, but they have to come back down again. And that's the way the rest of my life is going to be.
Can I add something here?
No.
Just lay it out. Just to lay it out.
No, you've talked the entire time, and it's her turn. And the point is, whatever he spent, whether it's 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, would make a huge difference in your life.
It would.
If that had gone to you instead
Yes.
of being...
And that's money he can't recover either.
Right. Instead of going off to some scammer, if
Right.
$50,000 was in your account, all of a sudden it would make a huge difference.
It would make a huge difference in my future. If you're going to spend over $1,000 a month sending women money, send some of it to this woman. Send some of it to that woman right there.
Well, what you're saying is you just want the dignity of being warm, dry, and safe in the same place as your life goes on,
Yes.
instead of bouncing around and wondering where you're going to be next month. And I think that's very reasonable. You didn't have to come here today, but you did, and I hope you're better for it.
Yes.
I think so.
So, guys, I am disgusted with this man. So this is part 2 in a 2-part episode. In part 1, we learned that this man gambled away their $1 million retirement nest egg doing day trading. He was doing it like he's gambling in Vegas, and he lost $1 million. She learned about this right before he was going into bypass surgery. Since then, they've divorced. He claims that he was meeting young, beautiful, exotic, wealthy women online so that he could get their money, so that he could pay her back for all of the money that he lost gambling. None of these women exist, as you learned in this episode. And also, he's been sending them money. So he's been losing money, sending it to scammers, eating food at the homeless shelter every day, surviving on his Social Security, sleeping who knows where, sending money to these beautiful women in hopes that at some point they will send him a bunch of money and have him, I guess. Arrogant doesn't even begin to describe this man. Entitled doesn't even begin to describe this man. Narcissist doesn't even begin to describe this man. My heart breaks for this woman as she was talking at the end about how she's lost everything because he lost all of their money. And keep in mind, they were married for 40 years. He lost all their money, which means she has nothing. And she's still working. She should be able to relax now. She's in her 70s. She's still working. And when she's done working, she'll only have $900 a month in Social Security to survive off of. And it's not enough money. He gambled away her future, her comfort, her safety, her security. He doesn't care. And he's giving more money to scammers who are pretending to be young 20-something women on the internet, as if that type of woman would even have the slightest interest in him in the first place. Arrogant. I'm mad, y'all. I'm so mad. But what did y'all think about this? I'm glad that he was humiliated on television, but it's not enough for me. It's simply not enough of a punishment. This woman, his ex-wife, is struggling, and she's going to continue to struggle because of this man. And I don't think there's a punishment good enough for him. But y'all let me know what you think about this one. Tell me what you think about Robert. I feel like there'll be a lot of comments. Is there anything that his ex-wife can do to secure a better financial future for herself right now? Is there anything that can be done at all? Or is she just kind of screwed? You guys let me know what you think. Drop it in the comments.